This carbonara recipe is so easy that you're going to want to make it again and again. Let me show you how to make it. Alright, let's start things off by boiling a pot of water. I'm going to take 2 cloves of garlic and just finely mince it like this. No need to be too particular about it. And then I'm going to go ahead and take 2 slices of bacon and just slice it up thinly, just like this. The reason why I do it like this is so that the fat can render out easily and it can get crispier. To a cold cast iron pan, go ahead and add your bacon. And the reason for this is that as the pan is heating up, the fat will render out, which will give you crispy bacon at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this on a medium to medium high heat, and then just make sure that you spread it out into a single layer so that all of the bacon can get some heat to it. So while the bacon is cooking off, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my sauce component, which is pretty much just 2 whole eggs, or if you want it to be richer, you can use like 1 whole egg and 3 egg yolks. I like just using 2 whole eggs because I don't like saving my egg whites. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grate in about 75 to 100 grams of Parmesan. This is gonna give me the saltiness and then also some of that creaminess as well. Of course, you can always add more Parmesan or less Parmesan, or you can also use pecorino if you have that on hand as well. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and grate in some pepper, as much or as little as you want. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take a whisk and whisk everything together. Make sure everything is stirred through. There's no dry piece of Parmesan or cheese on the side. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add in a bit of salt. Not too much, because remember, there's salt in the bacon, salt in the cheese. So if you add too much, the whole thing will be too salty. So now that my water has come up to a boil, I'm gonna go ahead and salt my water, make sure it's nice and salty. And then I'm gonna use about 200 grams of spaghetti noodles. That's enough for 2 people. And just cook that for about 8 minutes, just right before al dente. Cook it to your instructions and just subtract 1 or 2 minutes because you really wanna finish cooking the pasta in the sauce. So about 8 minutes later, my bacon should be pretty much done. If not, just let it cook a little bit longer, but go ahead and take that out and drain it on some paper towels so that the bacon can crisp up. And then to that delicious bacon fat, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my garlic. And then all I'm looking here is to cook it just to when it gets fragrant. So as soon as your garlic gets fragrant, take half a cup of that pasta water and put it into your sauce and just whisk it through. And this is just so to temper the egg so that it won't scramble when you put it in the pan. So now your pasta should be done, and go ahead and transfer directly to the pan. It's okay you drag some pasta water over. You actually want that because it'll help with the sauce. And just go ahead and stir that through. At this stage, you pretty much have an aglio e olio pasta, except the oil's bacon fat. And then go ahead and dump in that sauce. It's important to have your heat turned off and learn from my mistakes and turn off the heat to your pan so that your pan can cool down, and then add the eggs in. And then once you do, stir it up vigorously and as much as you can so that it does not coagulate. Make sure your seasoning's on point, and if it's too thick, go ahead and add a little bit more pasta water. But once it looks like this, time for the taste test. Alright, right here's the carbonara. So before we give this a taste test, I just want to say a few things. Yes, I know this is not the most authentic way because, well, first of all, you wouldn't use really any of the ingredients I use. You wouldn't use bacon, you would use either guanciale or you would use pancetta. Second of all, it's really made with pecorino. I don't have pecorino, and I normally don't have pecorino. I had Parmesan in hand, so that's what I used. And lastly, there's no garlic in it. And I like putting garlic in it just to get that garlicky taste. Anyways, with that said, let's give it a taste test. Just a quick note, I actually did curdle it just a tad bit, but I was able to salvage it because I was just stirring it through as much as I can with some pasta water, so it smoothed it out quite a bit. So, now for the actual taste test. Alright. Alright, cheers. Mm-hmm. It's just so creamy, so good. Alright, my thoughts on this. This tasted really good. The garlic that just simmered in the bacon fat just adds a nice like background roasted garlic note. This is similar to how I cooked my garlic noodles, and if you want to see that, I'll link it somewhere here. And also, my bacon is nice and rendered thanks to the technique I used where I just put it on the cold pan and just let that come up to heat, and that drawed out all that fat, which is then imparted into the sauce. I mean, so the only thing I'd critique on this is that I wish my eggs didn't curdle. Yes, it would have been a lot better if it didn't curdle, but I still think it tastes good. I mean, it's still pretty delicious if I were to say so myself. So, make this recipe. Let me know how it goes in the comments below. If you like this content, hit the like button. If you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button or hit this button right here. And hit this button right here for my previous video. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.